Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyamadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Okay, so we are getting started. Hare Krishna, Harshad Prabhu. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna, Jivan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Okay, we will get started.
Before we get started, Prabhu,
Yes.
I was a little bit confused with your message. I was thinking it is for next week because next week is Narsingh Chaturdashi.
Oh, next week is Narsingh Chaturdashi. Okay. Sure, we can post. But anyways, next week we have to take off mandatorily.
Okay.
But I was asking whether enough devotees are there or not. So that was the concern, and whether they want a break or not, because we have done 15 sessions, and I was seeing whether devotees want to continue to completion or want to take a break.
Mhm. That's what I didn't even realize that you are asking for that reason. I was thinking maybe Prabhuji asking for next week.
I
Narsingh.
see. I
So
see.
next week we won't be here. We will be at the temple.
You will be?
We will be at the temple.
Yes, correct. Next week.
We
Thank you
have
for
a session.
reminding
We
that.
won't be able to attend.
Correct, 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 correct. Thank you for reminding. I wasn't aware of that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we will get started. This time we are going to skip Gopala Champu because we have a lot of content to cover, and therefore we'll skip Gopala Champu session. So, just to give a recap, what we have covered, we have started our session with the meaning of the word Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then we were explaining verse 1 of first section of first chapter. And in that specifically as Akhila Rasamrita Murti. And we went in detail to look at what is this rasa and what kinds of rasas are there. We looked at the primary rasas in detail and we looked at the secondary rasas in detail. And we saw several examples into that. Now, this whole description of primary rasas and secondary rasas, it covers last two sections of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So in essence, we have covered half of the book. So now we are coming back to the first half of the book, to the first verse, to continue where we left off. So this is what Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It has four sections: East, South, West, and North. So we have covered more on West and North. A summary of West and North sections we have covered. So half of the book we have already sort of studied. And now we are coming back to the Eastern section where we started off with, which discusses about overview of Bhakti and types of Bhakti, which is very, very essential for practice because it discusses more on sadhana Bhakti and subtle shades, subtle differences, attitudes in that. And within that, the first one talks about Bhakti itself, first chapter within the Eastern section. And then the next section talks about Sadhana Bhakti. And then third chapter talks about Bhava Bhakti. Bhava Bhakti is the goal of Sadhana Bhakti. And we have Prema Bhakti, which is the final goal for a sadhaka to attain in this from this world. All these things are discussed in Eastern section. So now drilling down into the chapter 1, we are looking into the Mangalacarana verses by Srila Rupa Goswami. So the first verse, which started with Akhila Rasamrita Murti. So this verse has a secondary meaning. It just not talks about Krishna alone. It also gives a poetic description of the wonderful moon that you are seeing on the right hand side. So Akhila Rasamrita Murti. What is this Akhila Rasamrita Murti? It refers to Krishna. Krishna, who is the personification of all the nectarian rasas. The Upanishad says, Raso vai saha rasam hi evayam labdhvanandi bhavati. So he, the Lord, is rasa himself, which is what is here it's mentioned. He is a murti of rasa, personification of all the 12 rasas, which means that from his Shakti only all these 12 rasas come and then it descend into the devotees. The moon is also full of nectarian rasas. So the moon in the night, it gives its cooling shade. And that cooling shade is said to be providing nourishing rasa or in essence, Shakti for the plants to grow. So this moon also contains this full of nectarian rasa. So murti here means orb. This is an orb. So this orb, it's referring to moon. So Akila Rasamrita Murti, this moon is a orb of nectarian rasa. Prasarmara Ruchi Ruddha Taraka Pali. So Prasarmara Ruchi Ruddha. The ruchi or the taste is oozing out from the body of Krishna. So we are looking at two meanings of the first verse side by side. So Prasarmara Ruchi. Ruchi is the taste or the beauty. It is oozing out from Krishna's body. And with that oozing beauty, he enchants two gopis, Taraka and Palika. We looked at who are these gopis in detail under Madhurya Rasa. So he is enchanting these two gopis. This is for Krishna. Now, what is the definition for moon? So here, Prasarmara Ruchi, same meaning that the beauty of the moon is oozing out on full moon day, especially in the dark night, and it is very big, in the Bay Area, if you look at it, very close, it looks very beautiful. Ruddha, it is shadowing. Taraka Palihi. Taraka means stars. Pali means a group. So it is shadowing a group of stars in the background. We don't, when a full moon is present, nobody looks into the sky and then says, hey, the stars look beautiful. No. The moon, by its beauty, it shadows the beauties of the host of stars. Taraka Pali, a group of stars. Kalita Shama Lalita. So Krishna, he brings under control two gopis, Shama and Lalita. Shama is a friend of Sri Radha. She is also a group leader like Sri Radha, but she is in a separate group, but she is like a friendly group leader to Radha. And Lalita is an assistant of Sri Radha, a Sakhi of Sri Radha. So Krishna brings both of these both of these gopis under control. Now for the moon, it accepts the playful gestures of night. Kalita, it is accepting. Shama, night. Lalita, playful gestures. So the night looks so beautiful. Within that, the moon looks beautiful. It's not that moon in the daytime is beautiful. The moon in the nighttime is beautiful. So it is accepting the playful gestures of the nighttime. So therefore, the moon looks very beautiful. Radha Preyan Vidhuru Jayati. Krishna, Vidhu. Vidhu is a name of Krishna. If you look into Amarakosha dictionary, it will show, which is a Sanskrit dictionary. If you search for Vidhu in that, it will show Krishna. That's the meaning. So Vidhu is Krishna. And who is he? He's Radha Preyan. He gives pleasure to Radha. And that Krishna, Jayati, excels. So we see the gradation here. First, he controlled Taraka and Pali, and then he controls Shama and Lalita, but he is controlled by Radha, Krishna. Vidhu also means moon. The dictionary gives another meaning, moon. So this moon is very specifically fond of a nakshatra called Vishaka nakshatra. So this Vishaka nakshatra, it is very fond of. And the Vishaka nakshatra has another name. In the dictionary, you can look it up. It is Radha. So this moon which likes Vishaka Nakshatra. Why? When the moon enters into Vishaka Nakshatra, that is, when the moon enters into Vishaka Nakshatra in full moon day, that is spring. The spring season. In the spring season, the moon looks very beautiful. The full moon looks very beautiful. Why? Because the moon likes Vishaka Nakshatra, therefore it looks very beautiful. And the poets write more about the beauty of moon in spring season. So by this introduction, with the same verse where Krishna is explaining Krishna along with the gopis, as well as he gives a poetic description of this moon, Rupa Goswami is indicating what kind of work that he is writing. It gives the rasa details about Krishna, and at the same time, it is also a beautiful poetic work. It's a kavya. It is not just a technical manual. It is a beautiful kavya. And that is what Rupa Goswami is indicating in this. So we see, this is the first meaning. Krishna, the personification of all nectarian rasas, who enchants Taraka and Palika by his radiating beauty, possesses Shama and Lalita and gives pleasure to Radha, excels. May he excels, Jayati. This is the second meaning. The moon with an arbor of condensed nectarian taste, shadowing the group of stars by its radiating beauty, accepting the playful gestures of the night, and full of love for the Vaishaka constellation, excels. So we have completed the first verse by this. We will still look into other maṅgalācaraṇa verses in the first 6 verses composed by Rupa Goswami. This is the second verse. In the second verse, Rupa Goswami is offering his respects to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Kali Yuga avatar. So therefore, he offers his respects to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before starting this work. He says, I worship the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, who is Hari, and by whose inspiration in my heart, I, though a lowly person, have started this work. Hridi yasya preranaya, by whose inspiration in my heart, pravartitaha aham, I have started, engaged in this work. Varaka rupaha api, Varaka Rupa. Varaka Rupa means I am a lowly person, even though I am a lowly person. Tasya Harehe Padakamalam. That Hari's lotus feet, one day I worship. Who is that Hari? Chaitanya Deva. Chaitanya Deva is that Hari. I worship his lotus feet, who has inspired me in my heart to write this work. So he basically says, Lord Chaitanya has inspired Rupa Goswami to compose this work. This is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's direct instruction. And whatever the content that Rupa Goswami has written, he has heard directly from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is not concocting anything on his own. Now, if you look at it, Varaka Rupaha, by mentioning this, he has mentioned his own name, Rupa Goswami. He has mentioned his own name. Jiva Goswami comments on this. He says, Varaka Rupa, which means a lowly Rupa, Saraswati, looking at this word, it couldn't tolerate. Rupa Goswami, out of his humility, is writing that he is a lowly Rupa, but Saraswati cannot tolerate it. So there should be another meaning that Saraswati should also give for this word. So then he expands on that. He says, Varaka. Varaka means Varam A Kayati. Varam means best. A means good. Kayati means sounding it out. So which means the person who is clearly indicated as the best. Rupa Goswami, who is the best person, there is no doubt about it, is writing that. So Saraswati Devi has changed the meaning of, or presented another meaning to that word and made him glorify his own self. That is what Sri Rupa Goswami is saying. Sri Jiva Goswami is saying. So this is Rupa Goswami with the inspiration of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's composing this work, and then we see that his nephew Jiva Goswami is also sitting next to him and learning from him under his direct guidance. Third verse. Vishrama mandirataya tasya sanatana tanoho madishasya bhakti rasamrita sindhu bhavatu sada ayam pramodaya. So now, after offering respects to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami is offering respects to Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami is his elder brother. And Sanatana Goswami is considered as Guru for Rupa Goswami. Though both of them are brothers, Rupa Goswami considers Sanatana Goswami as his own Guru. So therefore he says, may this work Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu be a Vishrama Mandir. Vishrama Mandir means a recreation hall, a resting hall. May this work, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, be a resting hall for Sanatana Goswami. And he says Sanatana is Madisha, my Lord. Why? Sanatana Goswami is also an incarnation of Sanatana Kumar. So that is out of the four Kumaras. He is an incarnation of one of the Kumaras called Sanatana. The four Kumaras are Shakti Aveshavatara of the Lord. So therefore, Sanatana Goswami is also an incarnation of the Lord in that way. So may this work, which is composed for his satisfaction, for his pleasure, may this work become a recreation hall for Sanatana Goswami. So we see this here, and Lord Vishnu is lying down on an ocean. And this ocean is a recreation hall for Mahavishnu. So similarly, he says this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sindhu means ocean. This Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, this ocean of nectarian rasas, this work, may it become like this milk ocean for Sanatana Goswami. May he lie down in this work and take rest. That is what he is praying. Rupa Goswami is praying to Sanatana Goswami. And there is also another hidden meaning behind this. Sanatana Tanu. Sanatana Tanu also means one whose body is eternal. That refers to Krishna. So it also refers to Mahavishnu, who is lying down on the causal ocean, who is lying down on this ocean of rasa. So he is glorifying both the Lord as well as Sanatana Goswami in one verse. Then he is glorifying the devotees. He is offering respects to the devotees. He says, Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu Charataha Prabhuta Paribhuta Kala Jala Bhyaha Bhakta Makaran Shilita Mukti Nadikan Namasyami. These devotees are like makaras. Makara means a type of aquatic. It lives deep inside the ocean. It is said to live deep inside the ocean. Nobody has spotted that makara. Maybe it is living in a different ocean. But anyway, so it is said to dive deeper into the ocean, that makara. You would see in many of the Indian temples, they will have the figure of makara because it's auspicious. And they'll also have figure of yali. So these are the auspicious creatures. They said to exist in different dimensions. Anyways, so this makaras, these devotees are like makaras. They dive deep into the ocean of bhakti rasa. They don't float on the top of the ocean. They are not floating shallow on the top of the ocean. They dive very deep into the ocean of bhakti rasa. Because they are diving very deep into the ocean of bhakti rasa, they are free from the fear of time, which acts like a net. So in the ocean, the fisherman goes and then puts his net to catch fishes which are swimming on the top of the ocean. He cannot catch the fish which is deep into the ocean. He can only catch the fish which is floating on the top of the ocean. So those people who are just floating superficially on the top of the ocean, they may be caught by the fear of time. But those devotees who are diving deep into the bhakti rasa, they will never be caught by the fear of time because they are very, very deep, like the makaras. And these makaras, they don't swim in the rivers. These rivers are like liberation. Why? Because they are very small and short. This liberation, those who are seeking for liberation, they shallow themselves, they bound themselves into a small dimension. They don't dive into the ocean, which is very deep. Yeah, so Harshad Prabhu is saying Makara. Yeah, sometimes Prabhupada translates this as a shark. I think that's for easier understanding. But this Makara is a specific being which you can find in some of the. You can search in the internet also. It will come up Makara when you search. There's a mystical figure. It has like a peacock tail and fish body, something like that. It's a combination of multiple things. And it is in many of the temples also, it is sculpted for auspiciousness. So these devotees, they disregard this liberation. They are not worried about the liberation. They go deeper into Bhakti Rasa. And this Bhakti Rasa is very deep and very vast compared to the rivers. We know the river that is flowing in Sacramento, very small compared to the Pacific Ocean that we go to in the weekends and then swim across. So this is a picture generated from AI. You see something like makaras. Makaras look like this. And they dive deeper in the ocean. And those fishes which are floating on the top of the ocean, they'll get caught by the net of time. But the makaras, the devotees are like makaras. They dive deep into the rasa, which means they discuss these topics of rasa all the time, not superficially, very deep. They could like to dive very deep. So that completes the Mangalacharan verses. Some of the verses I have skipped because we want to cover more content. Similarly, the second divisions of the book also, many of the things I will skip. We will focus on the important verses that provides enough content for us so that we will both, continue speed as well as depth. The second section of the first chapter, he actually discusses how this book is divided. We are discussing how the book is divided in every class. So therefore, I will skip many of the verses, but I'll go into only one verse, that is the 10th verse, because in the 10th verse, he explains about the 11th verse. तत्र आदौ शुष्टु वैशिष्ट्यम् अस्याः कथयितुं स्फुटं लक्षणं क्रियते भक्तेः उत्तमायाः सतां मतम्. So he wants to now describe about what is Uttama Bhakti. Many times we hear this pure Bhakti. What is this pure Bhakti? What is Uttama Bhakti? If somebody asks us when we are walking on the street, we should be able to give that definition very quickly. What is pure devotion? You say you are in ISKCON, you are practicing pure devotion. What is that pure devotion? Can you explain? So Rupa Goswami is going to give the definition of pure devotion, pure bhakti, uttama bhakti, highest bhakti. So he says bhakti has many types. Bhakti, there are mixed bhakti, there is pure bhakti. In mixed bhakti, there are many variations, which we'll look into in the next verse. But this mixed bhakti, its potent is little bit somewhat less. The result it is going to give is inferior result compared to pure bhakti. The pure bhakti is going to give the highest result, whereas this mixed bhakti is going to give inferior result. So therefore he says, I'm not going to talk about all the bhakti, which includes mixed bhakti also. I'm going to talk about only pure bhakti. Because by pure bhakti, we can understand the power of bhakti. If I have to talk about the best, if I have to talk about myself, what accomplishments I have done, I would iterate the best accomplishments in my life. I won't be iterating very small accomplishment here, there, something like that. So I would just portray where I was best in my life. Similarly, when bhakti has to be described, its characteristics has to be described, the best characteristics of bhakti has to be described, and that best characteristics is present in pure bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. And he says he's not concocting this Uttama Bhakti. He follows the opinions of previous devotees like Narada Muni and so on. So, therefore, every verse that he composes, he will give multiple quotations. If you look at here, the next 11th verse is about definition of Uttama Bhakti. But to substantiate what he is saying is from Shastra and previous devotees' opinions, not he is concocting on his own. He will give multiple quotations. You see, verses 12 to 6 are just quotations from scriptures. Similarly, everywhere, whenever he introduces a new concept, he gives quotations to back it up. And this is how the devotees have to discuss. When they are discussing some particular concept, they have to back up with the scripture. You may not need to immediately quote the verse, but you should be able to point to the work where that concept is being discussed. Rupa Goswami himself, who is the founder of Gaudiya Sampradaya, he follows the same procedure. Okay, so there's a comment. Isn't bhakti always pure? No, bhakti is pure, that is true. But the persons who are practicing it, their heart sometimes has impurities and they add that impure elements into their practice. So that bhakti is said to be mixed bhakti. We will see what are all the impure elements in the next verse right away. Good point. Bhakti is always pure, but because of the practitioner's mentality, it changes, the name changes. Okay, so we are entering into the third topic of the first chapter, that is Uttama Bhakti. And this is going to be the most important thing in the entire session today. And you please memorize this verse. It is important. It is asked in Bhakti Shastri. If you study Bhakti Shastri, definitely this question will come. This question is guaranteed. You have to explain what is Uttama Bhakti. And this verse is very, very important for us in devotional life in ISKCON to remember it and memorize different things that are discussed here. So we will delve deeper into it. Each and every word, we look at it to see what Rupa Goswami is defining here, to understand clearly, are we practicing what kind of bhakti, or we will be inspired to practice the Uttama Bhakti. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Sometimes some devotees pronounce this as anukulyena. It is not anukulyena, it is anukulyena. Anukulyena. Anukulya is a proper word. Anukulya is not a proper word. Anukula is a proper word. Anukulya is a proper word. So here anukulyena. Anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. So we'll start from the last. Bhaktiruttama is Uttama Bhakti. What is this Uttama Bhakti? Sometimes when we come to the temple newly, we will carry certain misunderstanding that we have learned from the outside world. In the outside world, especially when we are sent to school, we have to progress there. LKG, UKG, first grade, second grade. And all of this progress are measured by an external label. If you get passed from first grade to second grade or 10th grade to 11th grade, they give you a certificate. Somebody recognizes you externally. And then you are said, you passed. Or when you go to a college, they recognize you. There is this gradations, they recognize you. Some people recognize you. So, and the same thing continues in the office as well. When a junior engineer, a senior engineer, and then principal engineer, and then above, yada, yada, like that. So we get labels like this. So when we come to the bhakti path, we also become attached to these labels, and we think that is the correct way for us to progress. These labels, externally recognized labels. For example, when I came to ISKCON, they had this Siksha ceremony program to encourage the devotees. Like if you are chanting one round, they will actually give you a certificate and you will come in front of all the devotees, you will get a certificate and you will go back acknowledging that you are chanting one round. And then next 4 rounds, I will aim for 4 rounds to get. And then in front of everyone, I'll get another certificate. This is good. This is to encourage devotees to progress. But then we start emphasizing on the external certificate recognition. That is where it goes a little bit problematic, because after 16th round, first 1 round, 4 round, 8 round, 16 round, then you have Diksha, that is first initiation, second initiation. And then after second initiation is done, there is nothing more. Suddenly I'm like, oh, there is nothing to climb. There is no ladder to climb. I'm just stuck here. And then all the enthusiasm goes away. And then we fade and we drop doing bhakti properly also. Because why? Because all the way we have put emphasis on somebody recognizing us. That is not bhakti. Looking for recognition, external recognition, and stamping with different grades, that is not bhakti. It is our heart within our practice, what we are doing. That is what the emphasis. These external things are just to guide us, but we shouldn't become attached to that recognitions. Then we will lose our enthusiasm beyond a point. The other recognitions is also in the preaching side. We have, oh, you are first like an individual contributor. You will be preaching to one person. Then you will be like a preaching head. You will be preaching to 10 persons. You will become a leader of a sangha. And then if you're lucky, you can become a leader of a multiple sanghas. And then temple president. And then GBC. These are also external recognitions. We should not think that, oh, if I'm from a single leader, if I become like a group leader, I'm progressing in bhakti. And from multiple leaders, oh, I have progressed further. Oh, I became a temple president. I am like great. And I became GBC. Come on, that's the ultimate. We should not think like that. That is for a specific managerial reason that we are growing in that ladder. That's a managerial ladder. That is not a bhakti ladder. A person, generally we expect who is growing in bhakti also to be in that position, but sometimes it can happen that, who is not growing in bhakti also may be a temple president, and then somebody who is coming to the temple also may be a very great devotee also. So we cannot use that external parameter to recognize, I have to now, my individual contributor, I have to become a preaching head, I have to have a group within myself, and then I have to expand the group. No, bhakti is not like that. That is also not a bhakti. Sometimes we put also emphasis on popularity. A person is very popular, then he must be a great devotee. No. Bhakti has nothing to do with popularity also. A great devotee, like the guru of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was not popular at all. He wasn't having even a single disciple until Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he didn't even give an initiation initially. So he is not popular at all, but he is a great devotee. So we shouldn't equate the popularity of a devotee. This devotee is so famous everywhere, and he has a lot of YouTube channels and viewers. That is not also the parameter to recognize a devotee. Some devotees may sing very beautifully kirtan, so that he must be a great devotee. No, that is also not a bhakti. Singing is a capability. Some devotees can sing nicely, some cannot sing nicely. Using that also, we shouldn't measure the devotion in a devotee. Some people look beautiful, as though this is a little bit, not many people will do. Some people I have seen glorifying beauty of another person also. So beauty is also not a factor in devotion. Or some people can nicely present things, nice ability to present or narrate or tell stories. That is also not characteristic of bhakti. A great devotee may not be able to narrate properly. He may be just, incoherently speak also. But that does not mean that he is a lowly devotee. Or some devotees may memorize slokas very nicely from the scriptures. They'll just quote on the spot all the verses. That is also not bhakti. The sloka you are memorizing for your own reference, that is good bhakti activity, but that is not the measure of bhakti. The more slokas I memorize, the greater devotee I am. No, not like that. So we shouldn't think all of these things as bhakti. So what is bhakti? Here is the definition of bhakti that Rupa Goswami is giving. We'll delve deeper into that. But the different stages of bhakti, how do we measure whether we are growing in bhakti or not? That we have to wait until the next chapter. In the next chapter, there is in the beginning verses, he gives some growth pattern. In that, we'll delve deeper to understand the different levels of bhakti and how we can understand ourselves, where we are and where to go to the next level, how to go to the next level. So here, the bhakti, the uttama bhakti, the pure bhakti, he is defining. What is this pure bhakti? Bhakti uttama. Anushilanam. I'll use laser pointer. Anushilanam. Anushilanam. Shilanam means activity. Anushilanam means repeated activity. For example, if I'm studying for an exam, I have to study again and again and again and again. That is repeated activity. Every day I go to job to do work. That is repeated activity. So this Anushilana means it is a repeated activity that is done repeatedly every day so that you will become best in that. Repeated activity. That repeated activity can be of multiple types. It can be done using your body. It can be done using your words, or it can be done using your mind. It includes all the sadhana activities. Chanting, it is using your words. Meditation on the Lord, using your mind. Cleaning the temple, using your body. Listening to Bhagavatam class, using your ears. These are all activities. When you do continuously, then it becomes Uttama Bhakti. Continuously, you have to do. Uttama Bhakti means you have to do activities repeatedly, not one time. Repeatedly, you have to do. Sometimes we express emotions toward the Lord also. Internal to our heart, the love for the Lord comes forth, and then we just remember the Lord like that. That is also Anushilanam. That is activity toward the Lord. That is also included inside the Bhakti. And the perfected devotees like Yashoda, Radha, or Nanda Maharaj, they express emotions toward the Lord. That is also bhakti, just the emotions. Or sometimes they feel trembling in the body, or the tears come out of the eyes. That is also Anushilana. If you are crying daily for the Lord, that is also Anushilana. That is also part of bhakti. And sometimes you will just avoid aparadas. There are varieties of aparadas which will be discussed in the next chapter. Seva aparadas, nama aparadas, which we need to avoid that if we want to progress nicely. So avoiding that our aparadas, that is also Anushīlanam. Anushīlanam, we said it is activity, but avoiding is also an activity. I won't do this thing while while I'm worshipping Krishna. I'm not going to worship devatas, for example. That is avoidance. That avoidance itself is a bhakti activity. So all these things are bhakti, Anushīlanam, continuously doing that. And for whom you are doing? For Krishna. Krishna Anushīlanam. So Krishna Anushīlanam. Sometimes we use the word bhakti differently. We say that when you are serving Krishna, do with bhakti in your heart. Sometimes we use phrase like this. You have to do this seva with bhakti in your heart. That is actually not correct statement. Bhakti means serving Krishna. That is what it's saying. Krishna Anushīlanam is bhakti. Just serving itself is serving the Lord. That itself is called bhakti. It is not that you serve and then you have bhakti in your heart. That's not correct. Service itself is bhakti to the Lord. And what is that service? Sometimes this concept, this word is very much misused. Service means, some people will say, you do sadhana and then you do service. Sadhana and service is separated. Then we get confused. When it says that Krishna Anushīlanam, it's a service, is called bhakti. Oh, I have to do service. Service means I have to go to temple and I have to clean, I have to cook in the kitchen, and I have to buy groceries, and I have to do this, do that, which involves your body. That is only service, we think. No, that is not service. Service includes, that is also service. Service includes anything you do with your body, anything you do with your words, anything you do with your mind. Your body has many senses, 11 senses. My eyes are there. If I just look at the deity, that is also service to the Lord. And that is also bhakti, anushilanam. Every day I can just look at the deity of the Lord. And that is service. I hear Bhagavatam every day. That is service. Krishna Anushilanam, that is Anushilanam, that is Bhakti. I can clean the temple also. That is also service. Every day I'll just clean the temple. That is also service. Krishna Anushilanam. So I can go and distribute books. That is also Anushilanam. Every day I can distribute books. So we shouldn't separate saying that that which looks like complicated, I have to clean the temple and I have to cook, and that is service. Chanting, hearing Bhagavatam is all sadhana. This separation of sadhana and seva is a borrowed concept. In outside movements, if you go, they have this concept in especially those organizations where they don't follow bhakti. They have this conception. You have to do sadhana. Sadhana means they sit and meditate, and seva means you have to do some seva to the society, or you have to do some seva to other people. So we borrowed that concept only for managerial purpose. We shouldn't you bring that definition to the scripture. When scripture says about continual service, service means navavida bhakti. Navavida bhakti is service to the Lord. Won't a Uttama Bhakta always look to serve in every possible way because they love Krishna? So, Rupa Goswami later will clarify in next chapter, a devotee can practice only one type of service, or he can do all types of service. He gives examples. For one type of service is Parikshit Maharaj. He was just hearing. And there are other devotees are also given example for doing, like Sukadeva Goswami, he was just reciting like that. One service only you can do, or you can do all service like Ambarish Maharaj. He was using all his senses to do service. It is not that one devotee who is using all his senses to do service is a better devotee than one devotee who is using only one sense. There is nothing like that. He says it is up to the individual what is desiring for their heart, because whatever you like in bhakti activity, you do that. That will give you perfection faster than what you do which you don't like, because you won't do with a proper attitude, and if you don't do with a proper attitude, in progress will be slower. And if I like chanting, for example, if I do that nicely, then that will give me faster progress. Thank you for the question. Now, Krishna Anushilanam is bhakti. Any questions before I continue? Hare Krishna Shivasmani Prabhu, Dhanavas Pranam. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna Sundarananda Prabhu. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna.
I did have one question though.
Yes, Prabhu, you can add, Prabhu.
So you mentioned Sanatana Goswami is one of the expansions of four Kumaras. And it's also mentioned that he's one of the Manjaris of Vrindavan. So can you help me reconcile those two?
Yes, Prabhuji. This was mentioned by Kavi Karanapur in Gaura Ganadesha Deepika. He gives both phrases, which is that he is an incarnation of the one of the four Kumaras, as well as he is an incarnation of this, I think, Ananga Manjari, whatever he mentioned. He gives for multiple people like that. So it is just that two personalities, they merge sometimes into one form and then they exhibit that characteristics. We also have Ramananda Rai, who is a combination of Arjuna, Krishna's friend, and also Arjuniya Gopi. No, not Arjuniya, Vishaka or Lalita, one of them. And then they just merge together and then come as one form.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I should strive to be as grateful as possible so that I don't become entitled and always understand that devotional service is a privilege. Is that a good mood to be at my level? I don't become entitled and always understand that devotional service. Devotional service is a privilege. Yes, Prabhuji, that is good, Prabhu. It is. Prabhupada also multiple places says, as you may know, that we don't call ourselves devotees when we are present ourselves. That is the humility of the devotee. So yes, it's a privilege for us. But at the same time, we also understand the reality as well, though reality check which level we are progressing for us to pick up the right things to do for progressing to the next level. Prabhu, can you elaborate more on sadhana versus seva in more detail? So, sadhana and seva, this is a concept, as I said, it is borrowed from outside institution. Within our text, you won't see that difference. The seva you can do in sadhana stage or you can do in perfected stage. Seva is sadhana, sadhana is seva. Both are same in bhakti. And that's why he will say that Krishna Anushilanam. Anushilanam includes what we generally call seva and what we generally call sadhana. Both of these things are included, but the terms are borrowed terms. When we have to use seva means chanting is also seva, cleaning is also seva. So though sometimes we will use the separation of sadhana and seva, but according to Rupa Goswami or the acharyas, that division is not there. Transcendental spirit personality, yeah. One can engage in some senses or all senses in service, and it is also a bhakti. As one progresses in bhakti process, thus once all senses start engaging in bhakti service as they progress, or one can be at a very advanced stage of bhakti by engaging some of the senses. Yeah, by engaging some of the senses also one can be in very advanced stage. But when we engage even one sense, the head of all the senses is our mind. The mind is grasping all the input from all the senses, it processes and it presents that to Atma. So, but if you directly engage the mind, then all the senses are in one way engaged. So the devotee, when he engages one sense, for example, he listens to Bhagavad Katha all the time. That's what he likes, Bhagavad Katha. But when he listens to Bhagavad Katha every day, he just hears and then his mind starts contemplating on the different pastimes. So mind is directly engaged there. And when we clean the temple, for example, nicely when we are cleaning the temple, we also think about the Lord. I'm cleaning the temple of the Lord. How fortunate I am. How glorious is the Lord. So that continuous thinking is going on in the mind. So by engaging the mind, which is the king of all the senses, all the servants are also automatically engaged. Weekly or monthly seva activity, is it also anushīlanam or every day it has to be done? So in the sadhana stage, it is every day. So if I'm doing chanting, for example, I have to do every day. Anushīlanam literally means repeated. So in the perfection stage, it is every moment. In the perfection stage, it is every moment I will do. Sadhana stage, every day. And between these two is a gradation. As I advance, it becomes more and more and more. Somewhere here, 50% of the day I will be engaged in bhakti, and 50% of the day will be in material things. And then 75% in bhakti, 25% in material things. And then 100% I'm just engaged whole day in bhakti. It progresses like that. So this, suppose sometimes we do Ekadashi, for example, Ekadashi once in 14 days we do. That is also Anushīlanam only. But we repeatedly do. The Ekadashis again and again come. That is a practicing bhakti. One time we may do, like, for example, we may serve a particular devotee only once. Is that a bhakti or not? It is also bhakti, but it is not like this bhakti which is to be practiced in the sense of, it is not the practicing bhakti. It is also bhakti activity, but it is not the bhakti which is we have to practice every day that Rupa Goswami is defining. That is not that. Okay. So, favorable attitude. We'll come to that. We are delving deeper into one word. Sachinanda Hari Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, my question is related to Krishna Anushilanam, right?
Yes.
And Anukullena Krishnanushila. So
Mm.
as we are in institutional setting, right, means Prabhupada ji has given such a nice way of living life that we can practice all the bhakti activities on a daily basis, like starting from eating, taking bath, and chanting, and then reading Srimad Bhagavatam, all these activities. But the real problem comes when we see like we have to work also.
Yeah.
And take care of family uh, apart from the direct bhakti activity. So can that also be a Krishnanushilanam, which is
Yeah.
Anukul and Krishnanushilanam? Or
Yeah. So that working will not come under Uttama Bhakti. We'll see why is it. Just wait for this first two lines to be covered also. I'm not sure by the speed we are going, we'll be able to cover today or not. But when we come to these two lines, we will be able to know. That is also can be changed to Bhakti, but it may not be Uttama Bhakti. Short answer.
yeah, and Prabhuji, if you cover like in our day-to-day activities, what is like Uttama Bhakti, what is not? Because
Sure.
we also need to know like what is Uttama Bhakti we are doing on a daily basis, what we are not. So it would be really helpful.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for bringing this topic. Thank you, Prabhuji. So we are just delving deeper into this word. We'll complete this word, then we will go into the question of favorability and other things. Every word we need to understand it properly because this is in one sense what we need to know thoroughly. Okay. So Krishna Anushilanam. It says service to Krishna. Then what about service to Vishnu? Service to Narsimha? Is that service or not? Is that Uttama Bhakti or not? It says Krishna Anushilanam. So Jiva Goswami clarifies that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. And Swayam Bhagavan means he includes all his avatars within him. That is the definition of Swayam Bhagavan. When Krishna comes to this world, all the avatars along with him, they also descend within his body. So because he is the source of all avatars, by just saying Krishna, it includes all the forms of the Lord. So even if you do Vishnu Anushilanam, that is also Uttama Bhakti. Or if you do Narasimha Anushilanam, that is also Uttama Bhakti. So everything is included there. So this definition is a watertight definition. Then what about serving devotees? Like for example, I may serve my guru, or I may call another devotee and provide prasadam. Nowhere it is said it is a bhakti here. It says Krishna Anushilanam. It doesn't say Krishna Bhakta Anushilanam. What about following Ekadashi Vrata? Ekadashi Vrata, how is it Krishna Anusilanam? Or serving Dhamma, how is it Krishna Anusilanam? So therefore, Jiva Goswami says the word Krishna Anushilanam means in Sanskrit you can expand it as Krishnaya Anushilanam, for Krishna I am doing, or Krishnasya Anushilanam, things related to Krishna I am doing. So whomever is related to Krishna, Guru, another devotee, or Ekadashi day, or Dham, all these things are related to Krishna. Direct relationship is there. Therefore, when I do service to that, that is also a service. Some people will worship Hanuman as a devotee of Lord Ram. They will be very much attached to Hanuman. That is also Anushilanam. If daily he does it, that is Uttama Bhakti as well. And some people would like to serve other devotees like Radha or Sudama or some Sakis. The in the spiritual world they will be serving. That is also Anushilanam. Every moment they are doing. Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam. Related to Krishna, Anushilanam is also Uttama Bhakti. Therefore, this definition is not a narrow definition. It is very watertight definition. Okay. So how does bhakti work? The see is because we use our material senses. This is hand, this is my material eye, material body. I use this material sense to do some activity, and then somehow I call that is bhakti. How is that? Where is it becoming spiritual? It looks like everything I'm doing material activity. because I'm using my material body. How is that spiritual? How does that become spiritual? So when the devotee takes shelter of a guru, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, he gets a seed of bhakti from the Guru. From the Shiksha Guru, he gets instructions, that is seed of bhakti. From Diksha Guru, he gets a secret mantra, that is seed of bhakti. So when that seed of bhakti descends into this devotee, that is the mercy of the Lord. And that seed of bhakti is nothing but the Swarupa Shakti of the Lord. It is part of the Supreme Lord. And that descends into the devotee. And when the devotee performs activity like chanting, hearing, all these things, whatever he is performing, this Swarupa Shakti comes out and then it sits in all his senses and then it manifests. Therefore, it is all spiritual. So Jiva Goswami says, Etacha Krishna tad bhakta kripaya ekalabhyam. It is obtained through the devotee. Shri Bhagavataha Swarupa Shakti Vritti Rupam. It is a vritti or a particular aspect of the Swarupa Shakti of the Lord. Ataha aprakritam api, even though it is transcendental. Kayadi vritti tadatmyatvena tatra eva tatra avirbhutam. It descends into the devotee and then it manifests through his senses. So when we are chanting, we are actually in touch with the Swarupa Shakti of the Lord, which is Bhagavan himself. When we are cleaning the temple, we are directly in touch with the Swarupa Shakti. When we are doing any bhakti activity, we are directly in touch with the Shakti of the Lord. This is not like punya activities like building hospital. When I'm building hospital, it's all material. When I give some charity to some people, that is all material. There is no bhakti in it. But as soon as you do a bhakti activity, this seed of Swarupa Shakti manifests through your senses and it becomes bhakti. Therefore, the whole bhakti process is transcendental, spiritual. There is no material thing within it. Okay, so we have successfully covered 3 words, Krishna Anushilanam, Bhaktir Uttama. We are running out of time. We'll continue to cover the rest of the verse in next section. Anybody wants to add anything or have any questions, suggestions? Shivas Pandit Prabhu, Sundaran Prabhu, you want to add, correct anything? Okay. Okay, thank you, devotees. We'll continue discussing tomorrow, or sorry, next week.
Would be happy.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Vansha kalpatarubhyasya kripa
Sindhubhya
sindhubhyasya
eva cha
patitanam pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Thank you, Vrajivan Prabhu. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat.
Dandas pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
My questions are remaining, Prabhu.
Your questions. We can discuss, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Very important question, Prabhu.
What is that?
Very important question. Which
Very important question. Yes, totally agree. Thank you.
Yeah, Prabhu. Very good.
Hare Krishna.
Tomorrow we can discuss.
Yeah.
Very well, Prabhu.
Very well.